Hello, welcome to Tesh Talks. You will have to excuse me. This is the first time I have made a video with a camera directly pointed at my face. And it's nervous, it's nerve-wracking. Like my hands are sweaty. And it is at least 50% harder than making videos with the camera pointed away from you. This is not the first time I've made a video. I've done moto vlogs and mountain biking and shit, but man, this is a whole different animal. But on to the topic. I have seen a recent trend amongst self-help YouTubers telling you to not listen to music. All right. Now, I think their concern comes from, this usually addresses men's issues. So I think this comes from their concern being, we've got a whole lot of guys with their AirPods plugged in, using it as a coping mechanism to detach from reality, presence, and more or less using it as a coping mechanism to not have to interact with the world, to not have to socialize. Now, I'm not saying that's not a problem. What I have a problem with is that they're telling you to stop listening to music. Here's why that's bullshit. The reason number one, you were physiologically designed to listen to music. All right, I'm going to list off some sub notes because I did not have all of this memorized. It's a lot of information, so I'm just going to talk on the notes I've made. So, music evolved before spoken language. Music is the language of emotions. It can invoke emotions and describe them better than language can. So, your body and mind understand language before you even get to kindergarten and start learning the ABCs. If you start playing music around a kid, a baby, you will see that they move their shoulders and move their head, so they're dancing. A cute little baby is dancing, and it doesn't know how to talk or write, okay? That might be a simple thing, but it's pretty important to keep in mind that your entire being is ready to intake music and use it, all right? Music causes bodily change. Music invokes movement by triggering premotor circuits, can increase heart rate variability, resting heart rate during or after music is listened to through its effect on breathing. So, the music controls not only how you move, but how you breathe, okay? So, if you already know a song, say a song that kind of is very excitatory, and you know when like a drop is about to happen in like an EDM song or something like this will literally affect your breathing, okay? So keep in mind all these things, these physiological responses that music can and does do to you without you even thinking about it. Music creates a propensity for movement, shifts you from no-go circuits to go circuits caused by the basal ganglia. So music, depending on the kind of music, right? Like if you are getting ready to, again, I don't know, listen to EDM, or you're going to listen to a soundtrack from a movie where shit's about to go down, okay? That literally turns on circuits in your brain to want to move, okay? That's crazy how sound waves through the air go into your ears, recognized by your brain, then changes a bunch of the neurons fire and changes a bunch of neurochemicals to then want to make you want to move. Frequencies of music will fire neurons in accordance with the frequency of the music and release corresponding neurochemicals due to the type of music. In layman's terms, your mood matches the mood or the energy or the frequency of the music. So it's important to keep in mind that music is not just a bunch of noise. I truly don't believe a vast majority of people really think about this. But music is not just a bunch of noise. It is an energy that causes a multitude of changes in your brain in accordance with the type of music that is being played. Your body and mind will synchronize and cause changes to how you feel and your energy, or at least perceived energy, with the music that's playing. Okay? Reason number 2 is going to be that music is a performance enhancement. Now, to a lot of you, that's going to be pretty darn obvious, but important to keep in mind nonetheless. So what I was saying before from reason number 1 almost not overshadowed, it kind of shadowed what I was going to say just now. All right, that it's a performance enhancement. All right, so mixed data says that listening to music that you're familiar with and causes you to want to move and be motivated can enhance physical performance. So that's a very individual thing from these studies that they found. I have read up on a couple studies, and most of the information I'm getting is from the Huberman Labs podcast in the self-help community. He's basically, Huberman Daddy is up there in the top 5 you watch. So if you trust him as a credible source, then that's where I'm getting a lot of my information from. So the mixed data showed that some people don't respond to music for physical performance as much as others do. And I suppose that's something you're going to have to really find out for yourself. But I know in me, the amount of go, the amount of juice that music gives me, whether I want to work out or go do something physically strenuous or not, cannot be ignored. I cannot make my mind not want to do something. I can make myself not go do it. But the effect a music of high frequency has on me is, it's something, man. It's something. Okay, let's move on to the next point. So it'll be up to you to see when it's most beneficial to you. So music can be very helpful in retaining information if you listen to it in bouts of a couple minutes. I think they said like 10 or 15 minutes in between studying bouts or focus bouts. Now when it comes to physical performance, it's been shown that some people like listening to music before working out and then working out without music. It's been shown that some people like to listen to music only between sets of working out. If you're at the gym, you work out, you take a rest, and only listen to music between sets. And I haven't met anybody that only listens to music between sets, but I guess there's some of you out there. And then if you're like me, you're going to basically just be listening to music the entire time, before, during, and a little bit even maybe after working out. So it'll be up to you to figure out at what time you listen to music to benefit you the most. But I think it goes without saying that it definitely does something to you. It can't not have an effect on your brain. Okay, it's important to keep in mind, because as I'll bring this up again later, you use this music to your benefit. Data shouldn't matter in this. You know how music makes you feel, and feel is important to motivation in the human experience. If you don't feel like doing something, it's going to be harder to make yourself do that thing. So, you know, there are times music is so helpful to me, it's not even funny, right? So if music causes a shift in mood and turns on these ghost circuits in your basal ganglia and makes you commit to physical movement even when you don't want to, right? Let me layman's terms that up for you, okay? And be realistic with what I'm telling you. Say you've got to do the vacuum and clean your house. Say you got to wash the dishes and do the laundry. If you're like me, you hate doing that shit. It feels like a waste of time. It does not relax me like it does some. I just get pissed because it feels like a bunch of upkeep when I would rather be doing something else, like riding my bike or playing Spider-Man 2. Like, I don't know. It's just, if I'm not listening to music, and I'm not saying I can't do these things unless I'm listening to music. Obviously I can. But it feels less of like I'm forcing myself to do something I don't want to do. Even mundane things like these chores now become either neutral or more enjoyable while you are listening to music or a podcast while you are doing these things. So it sort of smoothens out the experiences, right? It sort of smoothens out the boring in between the tasks in your day. You know what I'm saying? So most people, unfortunately, aren't doing what they want to do most of the time during the day, right? And I think that though some may think it's just a drug, which is a little short-sighted if you ask me. If you listen to a little bit of music before work, it might elevate your mood. If you listen to a little bit of music on your lunch break, it might help you a bit. A little bit after. From point A to point B, the mundaneness of life can be just a bit better with music. I don't think that's a little thing. All right, reason number 3. You can use music to control your mood and process emotions. If you listen to faster cadence / happy music for roughly 10 minutes, this will boost your sense of happiness. Listening to sad music for 13 minutes or more can help you process sad feelings and get over them. So this is huge, okay? This is huge. And man, it's something you may innately know, but in your unconscious, maybe day to day, you don't really think about this. You can use music to feel how you want to feel. I think if not for the performance enhancing benefits of music, this is probably the top reason you want to listen to music, okay? Life is all perceptional. That perception can heavily be influenced by how you feel. That is only normal. We're human, okay? As you're going on about your day, even though literally nothing is wrong, you have a roof over your head, you have easy access to water and food and whatnot, you may just be in a shit mood, okay? And so time is limited and is one of the most important resources you have, a resource you can't get back, okay? But perception is huge in the human experience day to day, right? So like, if nothing is wrong, if all your needs are taken care of, and you're just in a mood because you're in a mood, and it's something you can't always control, that's okay. But what if I told you you kind of could? Like, you could, if you knew the potency and had the consciousness and this tool of music, that you could smoothen out that whole day. I mean, that's a whole, I don't know how many hours you're awake and you're doing stuff, like 10 to 12 hours of wakeful time in a 24-hour day, that I don't know about you, I wouldn't want it to go to waste just because I'm in a foul mood, right? And so it's important to know this information because you can use the music to elevate your mood. And when your mood is elevated, maybe your energy comes back. And now that your energy's back, you can play with your kids. Maybe now you have enough energy to go to the gym. It enhances life, right? And it's as if you have some consciousness, you know to use this tool to your advantage. All right. Another huge thing is that you can process emotions through music. It's something a lot of you do innately, but I think it's also important to consciously know and keep it in the forefront of your mind so you can use music like a tool. If you are at a time in life where you're sad or grieving over something, you can listen to sad music to process through that quicker. That is huge. That is huge. You know, there are quite a bit of people that will try and process various emotions by pretending like they're not there or pushing it away. If all you need to do is put in your AirPods and turn on a track that will help you get through a bit of a low phase, then why not use that? So, wrapping up reason number 2, you can use music to dictate your emotion. To, you know, if you're not sort of in the throes of an emotion, if you can just snap back and go, dude, I'm really salty right now and I don't want to be, then you can kind of do something. You can counter it by listening to something upbeat or using a certain track to support the opposite if you don't want to feel what you're feeling. And that's by no means me telling you to ignore what you're feeling, to not use your intuition to understand why you may even feel that way. Is something wrong in your life? I don't know. But it is a noteworthy tool. If you feel like shit and it's for no reason, listen to something upbeat, go for a run. Listen to something upbeat, feel a little better. Don't you want to feel a little better? So coming to our conclusion, music is not just music. It's a tool. And for anybody that knows this information, you know you can use it to your advantage. Try not to think of music as a bunch of sound, as something you just throw in the headphones and do, okay? It's a tool. Use it to your advantage. If you got ADHD, this was just a side note I put in there, but I think it's worth sharing. Some of you may sort of vibe with this. If you got ADHD, you need dopamine. The music, cut that out, T. Fuck me. If you got ADHD, you need the dopamine. Use the music to get yourself to do things instead of sitting there while your head throws 20 different things to do while you do none of them because you're sitting there thinking instead of doing. And your head will also throw 10 problems in your life into the mix just to fuck with you some more. There's something about listening to music if you have a naturally loud mind. It's almost like it takes the place of the noise caused by your head. And activities that I don't have to actively think, which is mostly creative endeavors, like if I don't need to read or focus on something, like I was mentioning earlier, when you're doing chores and mundane shit, which that isn't even completely true. There is music that will help you while you're trying to focus. If you use some classical music, that can actually help you while you are doing a conscious bout of focus, like schoolwork or writing or reading. Just keep that in mind. Activities that are automated to you, like chores, will be much easier for you to carry out while you are listening to music. It's hard for me to do the boring, necessary stuff in life, but these things need done regardless. If I don't do them, things get backed up and don't flow. I've created a lofty goal of making money while doing this. When you throw in gym, meal prep, which I don't do as regularly as I should, the podcast with my friends, chores, etc., my mind freezes me in place and I end up doing none of these things. It's crucial to get these things done because they will stack in your mind whether you're thinking about it or not. Whether these things are in the forefront of your mind or not, it will fuck with you. Any tool I can use to order my mind, I will. You should weaponize music for your benefit. So, this being said, I believe due to the reasons I just gave you, music can be used against you. And now, this is another thing I understand where the other self-help YouTubers are coming from. Due to the reasons I just told you, just how influential music can be, I think a lot of it can be used against you just because of how much music interfaces with your mind. If you listen to violent, hateful, angry fucking rap, you're going to be fucking angry and mad, okay? Since you literally match the frequency of the music you listen to, you should be careful with what you listen to, okay? This is another thing I think some of those self-help YouTubers sort of harped on as music in our modern day being more or less garbage. Now, I don't fully disagree with them, but I think it's a bit short-sighted to only use that as one example and then go on to tell you not to listen to music. Amongst other reasons, such as, you know, them coinciding that idea with being bored for if you need an increase in creativity. Which, in that case, you can listen to classical music to help with that or not listen to anything at all. But I get that. And I actually do agree with that. You need to be careful what you listen to. These lyrics will go into your head and cause thoughts and emotions that will coincide with the frequency of that music and make you negative, make you angry, make you feel like shit, make you want to act out. You know what I mean? So just be cognizant of that and be careful. It will take a very introspective mind to delegate which music causes what effects and use the correct music to achieve the desired effects. So going with what we just said, you know, you need to pay attention to how you feel when you listen to certain things. And if those things are positive, then I don't know what you want to do. But like, pull out your fucking SoundHound and get that song. And then organize it into a playlist. It can be as basic as happy. I don't know, go on Spotify or Apple Music and organize your songs in happy, sad, exciting, right? And then it'll be so easy for you. You open your phone and you go, I'm sad. I don't want to feel like this right now. It's maybe unproductive. You go listen to happy shit. Wow. Now you're bouncing around getting all this shit done. Something I do just to make it a bit more easy on myself is I often listen to music that doesn't really have any lyrics at all. So besides the Huberman podcast, just sort of coming in with the science to now explain through studies and experiments what music does, this was something I actually realized and used years ago, okay? A lot of the music I listen to, especially when working out, especially when I need to get something done, rarely do I listen, it's not rare, but especially when I'm working out, I don't listen to music with lyrics in it. The lyrics can be sort of disrupting to the flow of things, if that makes any sense. And that's not going to be for everyone, and that isn't even always true for me, but when I'm going to the gym and working out and trying to focus on every set, every rep, you know, I rarely want a sort of disturbing not disturbing, but disruptive thought from a lyric to come in and sort of knock me off my focus. So oftentimes to make it a little easier, I just listen to tracks from movies and video games. I don't listen to songs and what most people listen to. Something you don't think about, but music highly contributes to the feel of scenes. Imagine the 007 movies opening without that iconic track that happens at the start of every 007 movie. Imagine Avengers with no music during the climax. Imagine no music that starts playing to sort of give you an enhanced cool feeling when you're swinging around the city in Spider-Man 2 if you're playing that video game. So my point there being, you don't even realize it, but there's music being played in all forms of media you watch and interact with to get you to feel what they want you to feel. Whether you use that to your advantage or not is up to you. All right, so just to wrap this up, I'm going to give you a couple of tracks I personally listen to, and the two playlists I've made, I made these two playlists years ago. All right, so I knew about this shit from the jump, but I literally have two playlists called high energy and low energy. High energy being things I use for, I'm about to lift hard, I'm about to sprint, that kind of shit. And then I have the low energy for when I want sort of not necessarily just to rest, but that's just more for focus. It's for a different type of focus. It's to bring it down a notch and have a more smooth focus. It's a focus that's not excitatory, right? Think sitting there typing away at your computer, figuring something out sort of music, all right? So here, I'm going to give you 3 tracks from each of these playlists, all right? You use them to sort of get a feel for what I'm talking about, right? So pay attention to how you feel when you listen to this. When you're listening to the high energy playlist, which is just what I'm calling it, you'll see you kind of want to like fucking move. You want to get up. You want to go. It gets your juices flowing, man. It makes you want to move. It makes you want to do something, okay? Here's the 3 I have for you. I have the track's called Dhaka Suite. That's Dhaka Suite. It's from the movie Extraction and was made by Henry Jackman. I've got Enter the Animus from the video game Assassin's Creed, made by Jesper Kyd. I've also got Setting Up the Lair from the show Arrow, made by Blake Neely. And now for that low sort of focused low energy, I've got a track called The Setup from a Formula 1 2022 racing game. That's by MikTek. You've got Vondra from the video game The Division, made by Ola Strandth. Probably said that wrong. And then the last example I will give you is a track called Desmond Miles from the video game Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, also made by Jesper Kyd. All right. Guys, ultimately it's going to be up to you to use music to your advantage. But the takeaway from this is to use it. What I want you to keep in mind is that music is a tool. Use it to your advantage, and it will greatly benefit you. Okay? See ya.